Okay, so okay, so Debasih, you are comfortable?
Yes, sir. Sir, namaskar.
Yeah, namaskar. Good evening. Good morning. Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start. So, can you please give a brief introduction about yourself?
Sir, I am Debasih Jena. I belong to district board of Odisha. I have done my graduation in life sciences, in subject life sciences from Niger, Bhubaneswar. Since then, I am preparing for civil services, sir.
So, you have completed your MSc from Niger. So, you can better go in some research line why you want to join civil service.
Sir, I was associated with JERIA, our program through which we tried to teach underprivileged children nearby our college. During my association there, I felt very much satisfied by working with people who are underprivileged and help in their growth. So I from there my ambition rose to work for civil services, to work at the grassroots level for the people so that I can get satisfaction in my job, sir.
Okay. So, you have anthropology optional.
Yes, sir.
So, how do you think that anthropology will help you in civil service journey?
Sir, anthropology is a optional where we study everything holistically from every angle possible. So, in administration also, we need to consider every aspect as holistically as possible. Secondly, in anthropology, we use a term called cultural relativism, where we study culture from their aspect of the people rather than our own aspect. So, in administration also, that emotional intelligence of studying other culture through their own eyes is very much relevant, sir. And also anthropology directly helps in designing programs in through action anthropology and all, which have been done in India also, and that knowledge will help me to understand society and design programs for them, sir.
Okay. So, how many PVDs are there in Odisha?
So there are 13 PVTs in also.
Okay. And total in whole India, how many PVDs are there?
In India 75 PVTs is there.
Okay. So, what are the major problem the tribal people are facing in Odisha?
Sir, tribal people are majorly facing their land alienation because of different mining projects and different infrastructure projects in Odisha. Secondly, forest rights have been not been given to all the tribes who deserve that. And thirdly, sir, the rising instances of indebtedness among the tribe because of debt trap by the informal money lenders. That is one aspect. And another aspect is, sir, mass migration from tribes in search of jobs to the modern market to Surat and Tamil Nadu and other places, sir.
Why the tribal people are protesting against the Vedant project in Niyamgiri?
Sir, Dongria Kon tribe protesting against the project because they worship Niam Raja, their hill deity, whom they consider sacred. From them, their culture is sacrosanct, which cannot be taken away because their whole life depends upon their culture. So they revolted against the project because bauxite was going to be manufactured in that place, sir.
Okay. So you are belong to Baud. And what are the major challenges you see in Baud?
Sir, major challenges in both is the agricultural productivity is not much in both because it's purely mostly rain-fed only. Secondly, the agriculture is mostly concentrated on rice and wheat, very less in millets and pulses, which is not sustainable in nature. Secondly, in case of industries, sir, the MSMEs are not been developed much in larger scale like in other areas of Odisha. And thirdly, sir, there is also migration from both to the different places of India in search of jobs because local employment is very much less available.
But recently, Odisha got number one position in MSME sector in the whole India. Recently, the government of Odisha received the award for MSME.
Yes, sir. Odisha government is changing its policy because of dynamic governance nowadays. In view of its 5T policy, it has also acted in MSME by giving them ease of doing business. That they are being also cluster-based approach to provide MSME with appropriate raw materials and appropriate credit at local level so that they can develop themselves. So I think it will further develop in future.
Okay. So, what do you think? Why Navin Patnaik is so popular and the longest serving chief minister in India? So, what are the initiative he have taken so that he was the most popular among the popular face in Odisha right now?
Sir, I personally think that because of his dynamic governance approach has resulted in winning from 2 decades. He works for the people at grassroots level, for the poor and especially the women by building Mission Shakti like programs. And thirdly, sir, the disaster management is also hugely popular because of Odisha because he believes in zero casualty approach so that no lives can be lost. So it has led to his huge popularity, sir.
Okay. So, do you think that Odisha, though Odisha is a rich mineral state, many minerals in many mineral category, Odisha secure the position in the national level. Still, there are lagging in industry and manufacturing sector in Odisha. Where is the problem?
Sir, the major problem regarding industry, I think, is land acquisition in Odisha. Land acquisition policy and also implementation have not been done properly. Secondly, sir, the ease of doing business was also not good earlier. Now it has been provided by the Go Smart portal and other ease of doing businesses initiatives taken by our government. And thirdly, sir, there is connectivity problem in Odisha because of its connectivity to the other states and also inside our state, which has resulted in less forward and backward linkages to the industry. So I think we are showing a huge 8% growth rate in manufacturing also. So it will develop in future, sir.
Okay. So there is a major issue in Odisha related to Naxalism. So what do you think? Why Naxalism is there, and how what are the steps actually government of Odisha or government of India is taking to tackle this Naxal problem?
Sir, Naxalism is mainly existing because the developmental schemes have not been reached to the poor people living in the inaccessible terrains, like in Sohiman, Anchal, and all. Government of Odisha is taking steps like building Gurupriya Bridge, the connectivity to the Sohiman, Anchal, which will involve them in our mainstream society. Secondly, sir, they have been they provided employment opportunity by fishing in the island, which is distant from us from the mainstream. Thirdly, sir, the operational forces in model of Greyhound of Andhra Pradesh have been done so that they can be tackled. And the surrender come rehabilitation scheme of Odisha is also very famous, where they are giving huge incentives so that they will not join the Naxalites rank and join the police ranks or even constable ranks to work for the society, sir.
Government of Odisha is focusing much more in sports sector. So
Yes,
how
sir.
do you think that sports will develop Odisha or increase its image? Or why government is focusing so much in sports?
Sir, one thing is Odisha wants to be seen as sports capital of the world because of its because of its traditional hockey players like Dilip Tirki and Ignesh Tirki. It has built a huge name in the whole world in hockey. So it wants to develop hockey as a major brand from Odisha. Secondly, at grassroots level, we have seen the our sports like Kho Kho, Kabaddi has not been much popular in India. So we want to change that by giving impetus to those sports. So it will help in health and wellness of the society, and also it will help in building Odisha image in India and the world, sir.
Have you heard about Jaga mission?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, it provides uh, land to the landless farmers, sir.
Okay. Um, Recently, do you think that uh, by taking a neutral stand in Russia-Ukraine war, so we are supporting human right violation?
Sir, we are taking a neutral stand in respect of our national interest and strategic autonomy, sir. Sir, Russia have been a historically time-tested partner, so we don't want to antagonize Russia. Otherwise, it will also help in building Russia-China-Pakistan axis, which is against the India's interest. And Russia also helps in our major projects like Kudankulam nuclear plant, S-400 missile. So, but also regarding the human rights violation, India has also condemned the Bucha killings and also told Russia that this is not the time for war and it should obey the 3D, that is dialogue, diplomacy, and de-escalation from the war, sir.
So India has recently assumed the presidency of G20. So do you know, so how G20 presidency will benefit India's image in the international platform?
Sir, through G20 presidency, India wants to be voice of the global south, wants to present the global south at the international fora where they are very lessly represented. Secondly, India wants to promotes its initiatives for the world, like the life movement, through which the climate change can be tackled. And thirdly, sir, India wants to accelerate the development of SDG, which has been lacking in various developing countries. So, developed country needs to provide technology and as well as resources so that the zero hunger and no poverty can be achieved as early as possible, sir. And India also focuses on women-led development in G20 so that they can be integrated into the society much larger scale than it is now, sir.
Okay, so recently government of India have taken steps related to civil service officer training. Is there any have you heard about Mission Karma Yogi?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, Mission Karma Yogi wants to change the rule-based approach to the roles-based approach. Bureaucracy is mostly focused on red tapeism and following the rules. Government want to change to the role-based approach, where bureaucracy will be mostly concerned on their roles of public welfare and working for towards the public. So it will be less concentrated on red tapeism and more concentrated on field work and doing Jan Sambad and all, so that their role of being a last mile delivery of the projects of the India can be fulfilled, sir.
What is Kartavya Path?
Sir, the path in towards the parliament from the India Gate, it is now renamed as Kartavya Path in view of Subhash Chandra Bose, who think that Kartavya, it signifies our duty towards the democracy, sir.
What is moonlighting?
Sir, moonlighting is a term given in the corporate sector where the individuals are engaging in multiple projects despite being appointed by a company. So, because it violates the ethical aspects of insider information not being leaked to the outside companies or rival companies, so it is termed as moonlighting, sir.
Have you heard about 30 by 30? 30 into 30 related to biodiversity.
Yes, sir. I think it was promulgated in biodiversity conservation meeting in Kunming, China, that 30% of biodiversity need to be protected by 2030. I think.
Okay, very good. So, what are the steps actually government is taking, or government of India showing to the world related to sustainable development or conservation of the nature, or uh, like uh, or climate changing or global warming? What are the steps government of India is taking?
Sir, Government of India is taking one of the major steps, that life movement, where it want to show the traditional lifestyle is very much important to conserve the energy and in view of climate change. Like you used to sun dry clothes rather than uh, drying in washing machine, so it will conserve energy, or using rainwater harvesting rather than building large concrete projects for rainwater. And secondly, sir, India is focusing on integrating solar energy all over the world through One Sun, One World, One Grid project, sir. And also, India is also focusing on building climate resilient infrastructure in India and also in the whole world, so that we can be more adapted to the changing climate in future, sir.
Okay. So now India also, you are also from Niger, and the board is Homiji Bhabha National Institution. So what are the contribution of Homiji Bhabha to the nation?
Sir, Homi Jahangir Baba was a physicist of India. So he contributed to the designing of three-stage nuclear program in India, so that we can use the limited uranium in our country, and at the last stage we can use the thorium, which is very much abundant in our country for our nuclear projects. And sir, he has also given a scattering theory through his experiment, which is also used in physics at large scale. So these are his major contributions.
Okay, so Bakshi Jagabandhu, why he is famous for?
Sir, Bakshi Jagabandhu is famous for leading the famous Piker Rebellion, which is also being told the first war of independence by many. He led the Piker against the unjust uh, taxes and land acquisition, land taken by British by force of the Piker, which belonged to them from princely times, sir.
Okay, so why JNV actually created? For what purpose JNV created? So you have studied in JNV both. Why JNV created?
Sir, JNB was created to help in study growth and personality development of meritorious students in the rural area and people belonging to the vulnerable community like SC, ST, and even women, so that their growth can be achieved, sir.
Okay, so your hobby is like extracurricular activities following European football. Why football? What inspiration you get from football?
Sir, football I liked because I used to play football and it helped me um, bit, it helped me in maintaining my health and as well as enjoying the sports, sir. And inspiration in terms of football, like it is a team sport, so it helped me in the knowing the aspect of teamwork in any event. And secondly, sir, football game involves a lot of changes during the 90-minute course. So it also taught me that we should focus on the till the entire game till the last minute. So in life also we need to be like that. Like we should always hope for comeback in life rather than going down in spirals.
Who is your favorite football player?
Cristiano Ronaldo is my favorite footballer.
Okay, so um, suppose you are the district magistrate of a particular district, and one person is there, committed continuously violation involved in the women rape, and every time he is escaped from the judicial process and this thing, and this time also similar crime happen, and everyone actually want this person to be to be get punished, but there is no uh, there is no supporting document uh, uh, against him. So how will you handle that situation? Whether you leave that person, because everyone including the women requesting you to take action against him, but you don't have any proof against him, but he you know that he committed this crime.
Sir, especially in rape cases, the voice of women is very much important. even zero FIR is registered when women complain against any rape incident. So first we need to arrest that person, because it is allowed in rape cases that the guilty has to prove himself of not guilty rather than the opposite. So after arresting, we need to present him before judiciary, and we need to collect evidence regarding the woman's the statement of woman, and also any bystander proof or whatever CCTV footage we can get, so that we can connect the dots towards that man. So by using technology and also using a psychological aspect, we can help him get caught, sir, I think.
So in economy wise, if you see the recently there are chaos related to Adani's company, the share market crash. So why this we are telling the richest person, one of the richest person in the world, suddenly there is a crisis in Adani companies.
Sir, as per the allegation of Hindenburg, the price and the earning ratio, the stock price and earning ratio is very much high, because whatever they are earning, their stock price compared to them was very high. So it was a time of correction for them. Secondly, sir, there is also allegation of related party transactions between his family members and others who acted as promoters, sir. And thirdly, there is also use of shell companies to artificially inflate the stock prices. So, as this allegation, the response to the allegation was not very clear. So, it led to the distrust of public, and public sold their shares at largely, and led to the falling of stock price of Adani, sir.
Do you think that the allegation of the opposition that there is a nexus between the government and the Adani's company?
Sir, I don't think there is a nexus between government and the company, because government does not does not form nexus with a single company or like that, because it hampers their name, and also it does not help them in their political aspect. So I think it need to be thoroughly proved that if there is any nexus by judiciary. If found, then it can be termed as nexus, sir. Otherwise, these are mere allegations.
Okay. So why the Sri Lankan crisis happen? Why there is a like balance of payment crisis also in Sri Lanka? Why the economic crisis in Sri Lanka happen?
Sir, majorly the Russia-Ukraine war has resulted in rising crude oil prices. So it increased inflation in their country, and huge import of crude oil also declined their balance of payment. Secondly, sir, they changed their agricultural policy suddenly to the organic farming. So it resulted in reducing their agricultural productivity, as well as huge import of crops, huge import of cereals from other countries, which also led to their BOP crisis. And also their industrial, they are very much dependent on tourism. So during COVID time, their tourism sector collapsed. So their inflow of foreign tourists slowed down, and it resulted in the crisis, sir.
So what is your biggest strength?
Sir, I think my biggest strength is that I am a hugely tolerant person. I listen to other views very patiently. Secondly, sir, I am very compassionate and empathetic towards poor people and people from people who are suffering. So I think these are my two biggest strengths, sir.
Okay. What is your weakness?
Sir, my weakness is overthinking at many points, so it leads to anxiety. Secondly, sir, sometimes I used procrastination to do things later, so it also leads to huge burden of tasks, sir.
Why do you think that you are best fit for this civil service job?
Sir, as I said, my the two biggest strength is tolerance and the compassionate angle. So I think these two aspects are needed for a good civil servant to work for the people, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That is all from my side. The basis. So do you want any feedback?
Thank you, sir. Sir, any